I've eaten it across Richmond and Vancouver and at restaurants, food courts, modern spots, and some old school diners. And one question keeps coming up. Is it better at a sit-down Teng or at a food court stall? In this video, we're comparing 4 of the biggest names in Richmond: Silver Tower, Tea Café for the restaurant side versus Don and One Café Teng in the food court lane. Let's start with Silver Tower, a Richmond Teng legend. Their baked pork chop rice is $22.50 Canadian and portion massive. You're getting a thick bone-in pork chop, deep fried until golden and tender, and it's the kind of chop you need a proper knife and fork for. On top, there's a generous layer of cheese and tomato sauce, evenly spread across the plate. No dry corners here, but because there's just so much rice underneath, it's fried rice by the way, the sauce doesn't always soak through deeply. Some bites are rich and gooey, others are just plain rice. And while they call it fried rice, it's a bit inconsistent. Egg is unevenly distributed and some areas feel like plain white rice. Still, it's a comforting plate, big, bold, and very nostalgic, but it's not perfect. At Tea Café, the setup is newer, cleaner, slightly upscale. The pork chop rice here is $22.95 Canadian. It includes a drink. You can also upgrade to a fancier drink with a small add-on fee. The pork chop is thinner than Silver Tower's, but still crispy on the outside and very juicy inside, so no complaints there. The tomato sauce, though, is very tomato forward, more fresh tomato than cooked down roux. And some rice bits are saucy, others completely plain. Same deal with the fried rice underneath. It's lightly fried at best, and egg pieces may be hard to find. Next up, Showdown at Yahan Center and also Empire Center. This is a food court champ. Quick service, budget pricing, and consistent execution. For just 14 Canadian dollars, it comes with a drink, and the portions are surprisingly solid. Then there's One Café, Teng, and this one really surprised me. At first glance, it's just another fast-moving food court stall, but their pork chop rice might be the most authentic version yet. The pork chop is thinner, but deep fried to a beautiful crisp. It's not as juicy as the restaurant versions, but it's flavorful and very well cooked. The sauce is brighter, very fresh tomato based, onion heavy, and spread evenly. Because the portions are smaller here, the sauce actually coats the entire dish. That's one of the strengths of the food court plate. Better ratio of sauce to rice. Instead of a fresh tomato sauce, they use a tomato-based roux. It's thick, rich, and cooked down with butter and seasoning. You really taste the depth here. And the base is real fried rice, 炒飯底, actual wok toss flavor. Egg pieces you can see, and rice that holds its own under the sauce. The pork chop is still thin, but crispy and well seasoned, and the cheese ratio is right. Melted over everything, not overwhelming, and this might not be everyone's favorite, especially if you prefer fresher, tangier flavors like Tea or Showdown. But if you're chasing old school Hong Kong cafe vibes, One Café comes closest. So what makes the perfect pork chop rice? For me, it's all about crispy pork chop, proper fried rice with egg, a rich tomato-based roux sauce that covers every grain, and enough melted cheese to tie it all together without turning it into soup. Let's break it down. At Silver Tower, you're getting that classic Chaan Teng experience. Thick bone-in pork chop, deep fried and juicy with a big bed of fried rice. There's definitely cheese and sauce across the whole plate, but because there's so much rice, the sauce doesn't always go deep enough. It's comforting, it's nostalgic, but a little uneven in execution, especially when it comes to how the egg is mixed into the rice. Tea Café is the modern cousin. It's thinner pork chops, still crisp and juicy, but a smaller portion overall. There's a good amount of tomato forward sauce and it's lighter, not as rich. The cheese is less generous compared to Silver Tower. And the fried rice feels more like a lightly stir-fried white rice than full-on fried. Over at Showdown in Yao Han Food Court and also in Empire, you're getting a thinner, crisp pork chop. Well seasoned and evenly coated rice thanks to a smaller portion. The sauce is lighter, brighter, and more fresh tomato and onion. But because there's less rice, you actually get a better bite to sauce ratio. And then there's One Café, easily the most authentic tasting version so far. You get that deep, thick tomato roux, real fried rice with visible egg, and a pork chop that's thin but nicely fried. The flavor leans old school Hong Kong, and the cheese and sauce coverage is well balanced. So here's the deal. If you want portion and comfort, go Silver Tower. If you like a modern and tidy kind of environment, Tea Café. If you want value and flavor, Showdown is strong. But if you're chasing that classic Hong Kong pork chop rice flavor with the fried rice and roux sauce, definitely One Café might be the hidden gem. I'm still on the hunt. If you know a spot in Richmond or Vancouver doing pork chop fried rice right, with the wok hei, the sauciness, and the crunch, drop it in the comments below. We've also tried Hong Kong flavor restaurant, Happy Day Cafe, all classics in their own right. But the journey's not over.